A reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, verse 11, talks between Narada and King Prachana Bharti. Nalini Nalini Nase
Nalini
Nalini Nase Gandha Shoraba Uchyate
Prano Vata Tomukhyasyam
Grano Vatuta Mukhyasam
Vipano Vagrasa Vitvasa
Vipuno Vagrasa Vidrasa
Nalini Nalini Nase
Nalini Nalini Nase
Gandaha Saurabha Yuchate
Gandha Saurava Uchyate
Grano Varuto Mukhya Sayam
Grano Vatuto Mukhyasam
Vipano Vagrasa Vidrasaha
Vipuno Vagrasa Vidrasa
Nalini
Nalini Nase Gandha Saurabha Uchyate Mukhyasam Vipuno Vagrasa Vidrasa
Nalini Nase
Gandha
Saurabhauchyate
Grano Varuto Mukhyasyam
Vipuno Vagrasa Vidrasa Nalini Nalini Nase
Nalini Nalini Nase
Gandha Saurava Uchyate
Gandha Saurabhauchyate
Grano Avaduto Mukhyasam
Grano Abdhuto Mukhyasam
Vipuno Vagrasa Vidrasa
Vipano
Vipano
Vagrasa Vidrasa
Hare Krishna.
Nalini
Nalini Nalini Rase
Nalini Nase
Gandha Saurabh Uchyate
Gandha Saurabha Uchyate
Grano Avdhuto Mukhyasam
Grano Duto Mukhyasam
Vipano Vagrasa Vidrasaha
Vipro Vagrasa
Name Nalini
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 Nase
Nashe the two nostrils
Gandha
Gandha aroma
Saurabha
Saurabha
fragrance
Saurabh fragrance
Uchite
Uchyate
is called
is called
Anaha
Grahanaha,
sense of smell
the sense of
sense
smell.
of smell.
Tuta
Avadita,
Avatuta
Avdhuta
Mukhya
Mukhya
principle
principle
Asyam
Asyam
Vipanaha
Vipanaha
Name Vipana
Name Vipana
Vak
Vak
of speech
the faculty of speech
Rasavid
Rasavid
name Rasagya
name Rasagya
expert in tasting
expert in tasting
Rasaha
Rasaha
taste
the sense of taste.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The two doors named Nalini and Nalini should be known as the two nostrils, and the city named Saurabha represents aroma. The companion spoken of as Avaduta is a sense of smell. Vidura called Mukhya is the mouth, and Vipana is faculty of speech. Rasikya is a sense of taste. Purport. The word Avaduta means most free. Well, yes, a person is not under the rules and regulations of any injunction when he has attained the stage of Avaduta. In other words, he can act as he likes. This Avaduta stage is exactly like air, which does not care for any obstruction. In Bhagavad Gita 6:34, it is said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna Ramati Balavatiham Asyahani Rahamanye Vayor Ivasadushkanami. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it is more difficult, seems to me, than controlling the wind. Just as the air or wind cannot be checked by anyone, the two nostrils situated in one place enjoy the sense of smell without impediments. When the tongue is present, the mouth continually tastes all kinds of relishable foodstuffs. Mukam karati pachala, angum lantate, yakipantam hambande, shikurundina tarinum. Omagana Timbrandasya Ganja Shalakaya Chakshumilitam Yena Tasmay Shikarayam. The tongue has two functions. One is to taste the rasas of prasadam, tasting prasadam, and the second is to enjoy 12 rasas of relationship with Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna and reading Bhagavatam. So that way we can enjoy those other spiritual rasas. So we have two choices also. We can use our tongue to elevate ourselves or to degrade, for material sense gratification or for pleasure of Krishna's sense, which will please our senses. So our choice is to taste material rasa or spiritual rasa. So why should we offer and sacrifice to Krishna? Krishna's not hungry, Krishna's not poor, doesn't need our food, and he's not impressed with our renunciation either. He's looking for something that we are not giving, that we're holding back, and that is our love. He wants our love, and he can taste our love when we give him prasadam with devotion. In Prabhupada's time, Sankirtan, like ladies, they would have a van and they would travel for months without going to the temple. And they would cook, but sometimes they were in a hurry. So they would go to the big supermarket and offer the whole supermarket except meat, fish, eggs. They could eat anything from the shop. That was But yes, we must offer to Krishna. And the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, he understands that everything belongs to Krishna, but not only to Krishna, but to Krishna's devotees. One time, the devotee said to Srila Prabhupada, we will have our own airport one day in Mayapur. And they were in some other airport, like in Europe, somewhere, maybe Paris, or did he go to Paris? No, I don't think so. Maybe in Germany. And Prabhupada was in the airport. He said, no, this is our airport also. So everything belongs to the devotee. Prabhupada says, everything belongs. So we know about Prita Maharaj from Srimad Bhagavatam. You must have heard about him recently. I think that was chapter 25 or so, or even before that, 22, 25. So he heard from the four Kumaras, and after hearing, he wanted to give some dakshin. I want to give you, but I don't have anything. because everything belongs to you. So what can I give you? That was his, he understood that also. And also, the devotee out of love gives what he has. In Gita, chapter 3, verse 13, there's a purport about giving to Krishna, the santas, being always in a compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, or Mukunda, or Krishna, cannot accept anything without first offering it to the Supreme Person. So therefore, such devotees always perform yagas in different modes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Archanam. So this purport is very significant because it saved one devotee's life in New York. He was out in book distribution. One man came, and he was wearing a Santa suit, because devotees would all be Santa Claus in New York in the early days. So one man got upset with him. He knew he was a devotee, and he pulled a gun on him, and he said, "Prove that you're Santa." So he took the purport of 313. The Santas being always in a compact of love, so it's like the sun. It's a saint, means the saints. You show him this purport. Okay, you're a Santa. Yeah, very significant verse. And he saved his life by quoting this verse. So it's good if you know the verses. It might save your life. That was the purport, actually. Another example of someone who gave to Krishna was Sudama. And he was so poor, he had nothing to give. And he borrowed from his poor neighbor some useless rice, very old and chipped. And this is poha rice. And he tied it in his cloth. And he was really embarrassed. He didn't want to give it to Krishna. But Krishna grabbed it. And he even ate it. He took a bite. And he was ready to take another bite. And he said, "No, stop. I'll have to be a servant to him now if you do this more." And he did get a huge palace. Yes, and that happened. So in another lecture recently, I did tell you about this verse in 10th canto, 10:21-35. Itava jamasa falyam dehi nami adehishu pranararta diavacha shreya archanam sada. Give your life, prana. And if you say, well, that's really too much, then what's next? If you can't give your life, then maybe some of you heard this. Prana, and then comes artha. And what's artha? Money. Give some donation. Okay, artha, and if you don't have enough money, then give another thing, tiyam. So what's that? Tiyam? Intelligence. Do some planning and helping for festivals. And if you think you're not very intelligent, you got one more thing, that is vacha. For words, you can preach, you can sell books, you can chant. And so that's what we can do. So Prabhupada had the vision that all of us belong to Krishna. So he used us for Krishna. So he engaged all of us, rich and poor. Some of us had nothing. I was playing the cello. So I had a cello, it was worth something. And I sold it to pay for the rent of Boston Temple, half of the rent. And Jayananda gave his savings, like around $5,000. And Brahmananda also gave his life savings. When he gave the check to Prabhupada, he said, "Could I have the 3-volume set of Bhagavatam?" Prabhupada said, "That will be extra." Yeah. So and then Brahmananda said, to get that $16 was harder than getting the 5,000. Because he had a job. Now he's a brahmachari. Can't work. So that was Prabhupada. So according to Nectar of Instruction, we should offer out of friendship. This is a reason. So first we heard you should offer out of love. And Krishna eats that. And so then in a very early lecture, in 1966, Srila Prabhupada quoted this famous verse from Nectar of Instruction, number 4. Bhakti chaiva satyam vitti lakshanam. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind with confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasadam, offering prasadam are 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. And guess what? In 1966, very early days, Prabhupada said we should have these 6 exchanges with Krishna also. We should have these 6 things. They didn't even have deities, but he said, no, we have to make friendship with Krishna. Like you want to go see somebody great, you bring a present. We want to go back to Krishna Loka, so we have to prepare ourselves how to love Krishna. And so the beginning is offering, and then in how to love Krishna, he says you have to practice. Now we're practicing how to love Krishna. Get up early. You don't like to. You think, I'll get up early to satisfy Krishna. This is the beginning. Then after chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Prabhupada says, you might be lazy. You may not want to do that. He said, but if you want to love Krishna, you must do it. Then he says, so in the beginning, we learn how to love Krishna. But when you come to that state, there's no question, I have to do this, have to do that. It's spontaneous. Just like when I visited Jaipur in India, they have the original Radha Govinda deities from Vrindavan. And Mangal Arti, the whole city goes. Everybody goes to Mangal Arti in the city. And like I was awake at 4 o'clock, 4:30 is Mangal Arti, and I heard people running in the streets shouting, Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. This is spontaneous love. They can't wait. They're running, they're calling his name because they want to see him in Mangal Arti. And then after Mangal Arti, they all distribute prasadam to everyone. And so if you're ever in Jaipur, you can experience this spontaneous love of the devotees. And Prabhupada says it's just like if you love a boy or a girl, you give a flower, you give a present, and one of the 6 exchanges. And so we have to give food to Krishna Bhoga, and we take prasadam. We have to give gifts, and then he gives us gifts. And we have to open our mind to the beloved, to Krishna. Guhyam, very confidential things we can tell, disclose our mind. And yes, nectar of devotion, it says that one of the types of prayers is we go and tell all the sins we did. They have that in Catholic religion called confession. But the problem is with them is they go 1 week and confess, and then next week they do the same things. So it's like Prabhupada describes it like an elephant taking a bath. First he puts water, and then he puts dirt. So what's the use? No, we have to, but it is a prayer we can do for the deities. Well, I'm sorry I did all these things and I won't do it again. That's the point. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. And so, yeah, in Boston, we used to go up to the deities once a week, all of us, and we would give a report. This is what I did this week, and these are my problems. Can you help me? And so we reveal our mind, and then Krishna gives us answers. That's really true. I had a seminar in Australia, not this temple, but so one of the exercises was you go to the deity and you tell your problem, and then you listen for a few minutes and see if an answer comes. So one devotee told me, yeah, it happened, it worked. He said, I went to the deities, Gornitai, and I said, no one goes on Harinam with me. And they heard the answer, you don't see, we come with you, we go with you. And that devotee later became part of that big, the ones that go all over the world. Harinam Ruchi. That devotee became, I think, the leader, maybe. So, yeah, it works. It works. And now he's always got people coming at Harinam. Even Mahavishnu Maharaj comes. So, yeah, you can pray to the deities. You'll get answers. Reveal your mind. You tell them your problem. And it does work. So there's 2 attitudes. There's the impersonalist, I'm God. Yes, and there's devotee, I'm servant of God. So like Prabhupada was in the airport, and as soon as he arrived in London, everyone hit the floor. All the devotees and reporters looking, what's going on here? So then first question, you think you are God? And Prabhupada said, the spiritual master should be given all respects as God. But if he thinks he is God, then he is a dog. And so what can the reporter say after that? Yeah, he would always stump the reporters. So yeah, in Gita, purport 263, it says, an impersonalist, being impersonal, cannot eat. They try to restrict themselves. Where he tries to avoid good eatables, devotee knows Krishna is supreme enjoyer, and he eats all offered to Krishna. So we could eat prasadam, but they don't eat. It's part of their, they're very austere eaters. So what is the best sacrificial offering? If you look at Radharani's lotus feet on the bottom, you will find a marked sacrificial altar on her lotus feet. This means the sins of those who meditate at her feet are burned up as if on the altar of sacrifice. And just as the universe is nourished by the brahmanas offering fire sacrifices, similarly, those who offer their minds in sacrifice to their feet stimulate universal nourishment that affects all of creation. Did you know that? If you put your mind at Radha Krishna's lotus feet, you stimulate universal nourishment. You're feeding the whole universe just by putting your mind. Now, the best one, which I like, the best meaning, universe, whatever you see here, is the form of Krishna, universal form. And the offering is the form of Radharani. So, if you take something and offer it, this perfect union is shown by the mark of a sacrificial altar. So the best offering, of course, is to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for us, for bringing Radha and Krishna together in the holy names. Yes. And so this deity worship is under the protection of Radharani. If you do deity worship or do devotion, any devotional service, you're putting yourself under the care of Radharani. And yes, in the Gita it says, Mahatmas, they take shelter of Daivi Prakriti, and this is, according to Nectar Devotion, this verse means it's Radharani. Mahatmas. Yes, Mahatmas take shelter of Radharani. Sage Naimisharanya, they were performing fire sacrifice for 1,000 years. But it wasn't working. It was all full of smoke, and they were just blackening their bodies with smoke. No fire was there. But at the same time, there were Sutta Goswami was speaking Bhagavatam, and he said, "Oh, we're so happy. This other one, fruit of activity, sacrificial fire, is not working, but we're happy by hearing the nectar of Govinda." That's Bhagavatam. So, how did Prabhupada apply about the qualities? We're talking about prasadam now. So, because this verse is about the mouth, and the mouth, one of the mouth's functions is to eat. So Nanda Kumar, my god brother, said, there was a time I was feeling physically challenged. Ghee, sugar, and some of the Krishna diet was too heavy for me, make me sleep or get sick. When I ate light foods, I'd be healthy. Devotees told me, this is Maya. If you take prasadam, Krishna will bless you. Whatever you get is a fragment of your karma. That's pretty heavy. Devotees eat prasadam and don't worry about health food. That was philosophically sound, but practically speaking, if I ate a light diet, I served better and had a clearer mind. I asked Prabhupada, I understand the principle of accepting Krishna's mercy by taking prasad, but when I eat light, it's easier. When I eat heavy, it's difficult. What should I do? Prabhupada said, if you're Rupa Goswami, just take prasadam. But if you're a neophyte, which all of you are, you have to decide what's good for your devotional service and when it's not good for your devotional service. So there, Prabhupada gives that answer. That, you can't eat light if you have to. In old age, now we see what that means. Another one, in Montreal, there is a devotee, Dayal Nitai, who was a yogi and into health. He strongly criticized our diet, white rice, white sugar, butter that time. Prabhupada was in Montreal, and he used to walk with him. One day, Darlene, I was complaining to Prabhupada, our food was not healthy, and we're all going to get sick. And Prabhupada, so this was Brahmananda speaking here. Prabhupada stopped walking. He said, "You see Brahmananda here? He's been eating this food for so long. Does he look sick?" Anyway, Prabhupada, you would give different answers to different people. I just remember there was they went on a morning walk some European country, and there was somebody doing yoga, and they criticized he was doing headstand, and Prabhupada said, "No, this is good for your health." Yeah, and so actually I do yoga for health since 30 years now, and I believe it does help me to travel, even though I'm almost 80, still traveling. I do yoga. Now I added qigong. So anyways, what you have to do, what keeps you healthy? And I don't go to doctors. See, that's really helpful. So yes, and when they were in London, I believe, they had a big feast at night, life member's house, and Indian house, Indian. So you know how they keep putting, if you don't look carefully, they keep putting food on your plate, and they don't stop. And if you're not attentive, you get a mountain of anything. Yeah, you have to watch out. And so yes, there was halava, sweet rice, puris, and many other things. And and this is, I believe, who is that servant? Shudkirti. He said, I was watching Prabhupada, and he was, he was very attentive and alert eating prasadam. And we all ate to our full satisfaction. When we returned, this was Bhaktivedanta manner, Prabhupada rang the bell. Prabhupada said, "So, has everyone enjoyed prasadam?" And everyone's enjoyed. And Shudakirti said, "Well, actually, Prabhupada, some devotees are not feeling well. They're saying everything was fried in oil instead of ghee." So let's see what happened next. Can't turn the page fast. "Well, what do you expect?" he replied. "I was watching them. I saw Pradumna. He ate so many puris, and another devotee ate so much of vegetable." I was amazed, Chudakirti. I noticed Prabhupada eating, had no idea he observed so much. He simultaneously did so many things without appearing to do anything at all. However, I had an observation of my own thought. Yes, Srila Prabhupada, I also don't feel well, and I didn't eat very much. So Srila Prabhupada said, "I know this, you didn't eat much, but I remember you ate 4 puris." Well, this is Prabhupada watching us eat. And so Shudakirti offered obeisance, left the room, trying to figure out how he knew all this. He knew more about what I ate than I did. He didn't remember how many puris he ate. And so how could he do that? Then Venezuela Airlines, you might know that story. It's a very nice story. They were on the airplane traveling Mexico City to Caracas, that's South America. And Chudakirti hadn't prepared any prasadam for the flight, but one Indian lady gave him some puffed rice, woody, just before they got on the plane. And then as soon as the airplane took after takeoff shortly, the Prabhupada said, "All right, let's take prasadam." So Shudakirti asked, "Do you want what is served on the plane?" No, he said, "We have our prasadam, that's all right." I didn't ask for a plate. I simply put the tray table down, unwrapped the aluminum foil, and placed the puff rice before my spiritual master. He ate. Although it was very little, he only ate half. Without even looking at me, he said, "All right, now you can take." And Shudakirti said, "This was the nectar for which we were always anxious." Sri Prabhupada always took great care of his devotees. And this quality was one that many are greatly appreciated. So then Shudakirti took the puffed rice, split it down the middle, kept half and gave half to the sannyasi in the GBC in the middle, Paramahansa. We were happily eating, when a young stewardess walking down the aisle looked at us and spontaneously reached past Paramahansa and placed her hand in my Mahaprasadam. Grabbing a fistful, she tossed it into her mouth. Oh, this is very good. What is it? It's puffed rice. I said, trying to keep my composure. It's made from rice. Prabhupada looked at her with a big smile. Oh, this is very good, she said. I'm glad you like it. He said, I was a little shocked about what she had done because they weren't supposed to do that on the airplane. So she asked, are you having anything else to eat? And Shridakuti said, well, we're vegetarian. Unless there's some fruit, we can't have anything. She said, okay, I'll go up to first class and bring you some fruit. And anything else you want? And then Prabhupada, he asked Prabhupada, would you like some milk? And he said, yes. And then she went and got milk for them, hot milk. So then, let's see what happens. So then he will have hot milk and we will have some as well. So sometimes, Shridakuti said, sometimes devotees would give me money to get Prabhupada's remnants. He said, but they begged for this opportunity. And here is this flight attendant boldly going where no one else dared. He just grabbed it. So then actually, the stewardess became a devotee sometime later. They were doing book distribution in the Amazon forest. And she was in one house in the Amazon. She opened the door, there was pictures of Prabhupada, everything. She was chanting, and she became a devotee. Prabhupada smiled at her, that's enough, you know. And the Maha too. She got the Maha. And so, again, here's a story because where is it? Near Alachua, in Gainesville. They have a program since 40 years of distributing prasadam to the students. So they were on book distribution 1984 at the State Fairgrounds, Tampa, Florida. They parked in a Days Inn, a hotel parking lot, for the night. 5 brahmacharis was fast asleep. We heard a megaphone. All right, and there, come out slowly with your hands raised. I looked out the window, surprised to see the van surrounded by 10 police cars and more than a dozen officers with their guns drawn to our van. So he said, we came from the van squinting from the bright flashlights burning our eyes, and officers began to frisk us, you know, like they do at the airport. All they were dressed was in their gamchas, but they were frisking them. And what are you doing here? The officer in charge demanded. We were distributing love of God in the form of books. He said, prove it. He opened the van doors thinking maybe this is a dream. I reached into one of the boxes, pulled out a Bhagavad Gita, handed it to the officer in charge. He intently inspected the book, then me, then the book. Then he broke the silence. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, at this point, I was convinced this was a dream. The officer in charge proudly explained. I used to go to the University of Florida and regularly ate Krishna lunch. You practically put me through college. I even stayed 2 days at the temple. Then he turned to his associates. These are great books. You should all buy one. On his order, the officers were reaching for their wallets. Of the 20 clubs, I think 90% of them took books. We made almost $200. So that's the magic of prasadam. And there's so many stories like this from University of Florida. One was a man in Los Angeles who had a show, and whoever goes on the show, he would get on their case, fight with them. When Indradumna Swami went on that show, it was very nice. And he was asking him to speak and chant. And then he explained, I took prasadam at the University of Florida. So many stories like that. So we can see Krishna by tasting prasadam. The Bhagavad says, let me see means, I want to taste it. So we can taste Krishna by eating prasadam. And also we can taste There's 12 rasas with Krishna by wandering in the 12 force of Raja, and also by hearing Bhagavatam. So, yes, by chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Bhagavatam, we can taste the 12 rasas of relationships with Krishna. Prabhupada would taste it. He would read Krishna book, and sometimes he would laugh so loudly. And Shudakirti would read the story of, which one was that? There was one demon who not that I'm sure. Balaram killed him. Who? Divida Gorilla. Yeah. That's one. When he heard what the mischief Divida was causing, he just was slapping his leg and laughing. He thought that was the funniest thing. And so it's the rasa of laughter. That's the rasa of laughter. There are so many rasas. And you read Bhagavatam, you can feel it. You might like to hear the stories of the coward boys, or you might like to hear the stories of the gopis, or the story of Prahlad Maharaj. Different rasas of Krishna. So this we can do by chanting and hearing Bhagavatam, holy name. So Gurudas, so we can relish this, and we can also relish, like Bhagavatam is described as the ripened fruit of the Vedic literature. Nigamakapatara, Galitam Phalam, Shukamakar, Mitara, San, Pibatabhagatam, Samalayam, Muhara Hara Sikha, so it's a fruit, but it says you should drink Bhagavatam because it's a juice. It's a rasa. We have in India, I think in South India, rasa, some kind of rasa, but I think it's very spicy, so I don't drink it. Rasa? No, it's not for me. But now the Gujaratis have mango rasa. That's really good. That's more like a mashed mangoes. I had that recently. Huh?
Mashed raw mangoes.
Yes.
Raw.
Raw
Well.
Sweet mango and then a little sweet.
It's very sweet. Yeah, I like that one. Okay, so but this is also rasa Bhagavatam. This is rasa. Not this. Well, it can be the spicy one for some people, but it's also sweet. It's very sweet for most of us. So Gurudas asked Prabhupada, what are the desire trees in Goloka like? The fruits. And Srila Prabhupada said, the fruits have no seed, no skin, and when you finish eating a fruit and the sweet taste is still in your mouth, another fruit appears in your hand. So no seed or skin, what's left? Juice, basically. There's nothing. Yeah, but we got mostly seed and skins. And at the end of Kali Yuga, will be only seed and skins and no fruit. They don't stick around here. Not a good idea. And so Shukadev has made it more sweet, and Prabhupada has made it even more sweet by digesting and tasting it. And so there is a verse, second canto, third chapter, verse 17, that, both by rising and setting, the sun decreases duration of life of everyone, except one who uses the time discussing topics of the Lord. So everyone is being under the control of time. The sun, but devotees are beyond time, actually. They are beyond time. So because we are hearing Bhagavatam, and another wonderful verse, 168, is about Yamraj. He's coming to Bhagavatam class. Maybe one of you, I don't know. Because he likes to hear Katha. He likes to hear Katha. There's a verse in Bhagavatam, as long as Yamaraj, who causes everyone's death, is present here, no one shall meet with death. Great sages have invited Yamaraj. Living beings under his grip should take advantage of hearing the deathless nectar in the form of this narration of pastimes of the Lord. So, aho, nriloka piyata, drink, it's saying, oh, human beings, drink Bhagavatam. So that's why it's good to come to class. You won't die here. As long as you're in class, you won't die. Yamaraj is here. He likes Katha. He comes. He's here today. Yes. So he is not to be feared by the devotees, Prabhupada said. It's his duty to see that the rascals who have forgotten Krishna come here to enjoy, they must be punished. So it's advised, oh, Nriloka Pieta. Oh, human beings, please drink Bhagavatam. Sometimes they may say, wait a minute, devotees also die. But Prabhupada says, no, it's not death. It looks like death. As soon as you surrender, your death is stopped. Unless you're nullified by accepting anything against the Bhakti principle. So you can also, come back here again. If you commit offenses or you have really strong desires, then yes, you could come back. If your desire is strong to go, you will go. If your desire is not strong to go, or if you do something negative, then you may not go. And so therefore, we need to always be chanting and hearing Bhagavatam, and we will not have to die. I've been there on devotees' side. It's not the same. I mean, I haven't seen other people die, but I was there with devotees. And Krishna comes actually. In Alacha, one young teenager, he was hit. He was riding a motorcycle. I think two devotees, young teenagers, died in Alacha on motorbikes. Actually, there's three. So one devotee, he was alone on his motorbike, and he got crashed, and he was still, he was alive. He was hearing for maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. There was another devotee behind him, which it was nighttime. He didn't know. And the devotee came and he was chanting to him just before he died. So it happens. Krishna doesn't forget you. Yeah, like another example was a sannyasi who left Krishna consciousness, and he was dying. He was on his deathbed. His wife was there, and he was just laying there. And then all of a sudden, he sat up and he opened his eyes. He said, "Oh, Prabhupada, you have come," and he died. So yeah, Prabhupada is there. That happened with one Guru Kuli in Vrindavan a few years ago. Yes, one girl. She was shot, and then they took her to Delhi hospital, and they kept her alive on some machine. Her brain was dead, but they brought her back to Vrindavan. So her parents were there. I was there chanting also with her. She was 17 years old, like my son. She was my son's age. That must have been how many years ago? 25 years ago, and so then they actually turned off the machine. But she wasn't really, they were just making her breathe, but she wasn't really alive. So they turned off the machine, and then the soul left the body. And her father was standing right over her, watching, and he felt like somebody brushed his shoulder and went past him. And then he saw Srila Prabhupada. And this devotee doesn't, they don't believe in these things, but it happened. So now he believes it. Happened to him. I think they did have a dream later that she was born in Govardhan. And she was a young girl dancing very happily and playing. Anyway, yeah. So, we will be saved. We have to be serious about our spiritual life. Try to remember, try to chant as much as you can, hear Bhagavatam, and then Krishna will take care. Rest. He's already taking care, but it'll be quicker. It'll be quicker. So, you have any questions or comments on this? Today's class. We're early. Yes.
First of all, thank you for the class, because I saw you first time yesterday in class, so I had got into it. And secondly, the power of prasadam. I lived in Alice Springs, Northern Territory for 2 years during the pandemic.
Okay, what's the name of? I'll repeat for the listeners online. So you lived in where?
Alice Springs.
Alice
Alice Springs.
Springs?
Alice Springs is the
Alice
place in Australia.
Springs. You lived in Alice Springs during the pandemic,
Pandemic, yes.
Okay.
And it's quite remote and
very
regional.
remote.
But there was a Hare Krishna couple, Indonesian and South African. They together,
Hare Krishna couple, Indonesian, South African.
yes, and they had Saturday programs.
Saturday programs they had
Yes, and right in the middle of the desert, like
in the middle of the desert.
yes, and they
Nobody could stop them.
nobody
During the pandemic, everyone was stopping.
yes.
Good place.
I went, yes, I went there. To be honest, I'll be very honest. The advertisement or the flyers in the town were for Bhagavad Gita, but I did go there for prasadam. To be honest,
Yeah, I think most of the devotees joined because of the sadhana. I think.
So I had no, I didn't have the capacity to understand Bhagavad Gita,
Mhm.
but I went there and then fell in love with the whole culture and then being part of the Hare Krishna since.
You went there for prasadam.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe 90% went for prasadam. Even if you had other reasons to go, main thing was prasadam. Like I did say in a previous class, which maybe you were not there, that I was teaching Bhakti Sastri, and there was one old man, we called him Dadu in Vrindavan, and he would deliver everyone's mail. And he was 80 years old, but he could eat like anything, a huge ton. He used to go barefoot. He never wore shoes. That was his austerity in Vrindavan. He used to eat. We were all amazed. And so he came to my Bhakti Shastri class. I was asking the devotees, what's your favorite of the 9 processes? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. And he raised his hand and said, Prasada Sevanam. So yeah, I think most of us have that. We became because when the old days, prasadam was so opulent for the feast. During the day, we were starving during the week. And then on Sunday, we would save stuff to get us through the week, samosas, whatever. But yeah, I mean, there were like 10, 12 preparations every Sunday. Like everything you could think of. And yeah, we really enjoyed the Sunday feast. And my husband and I, one time, we went to the Sunday feast. And we were living in Boston. And we went back home. And there was a riot happening, but we didn't notice. On one side were the police, other side were the hippies. And we walked down the middle of the road. And after we walked, we said, what was that? It was like, we were intoxicated by prasadam, we didn't even notice that there was something going. They were like backed off against each other. We walked down the middle. Oh my God. Anyway, those things happen. I heard another, I think it was in Denmark. Another example, same thing. There were 2 groups, like Muslims on one side and Swedish on the other side, about to fight with each other. They were just like hurt, and the police were there too. The police didn't know what to do. And there was a Harinam party, and they went straight through between them two. And then it stopped. They didn't fight anymore. Yeah, just the Harinam party went through. And that subdued everyone. They couldn't believe it. Nobody could believe what these devotees were doing. Anyway, yeah. Harinam, prasadam, that's our weapons in this age of Kali. Okay, any other comments or questions? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Online.
On the line, yes. This is Shalendra.
Who is this?
And thank you, Shalendra.
Chalendra. Okay. Gotcha.
Thank you for your classes. Lovely. But I have a feeling in which I want to express here.
Okay. Let's hear your feeling.
Yes. See, the recent few shlokas talks about 2 ears, 2 nostrils, mouth,
Yeah,
9 gates, directions. I
Right.
feel this is very basic information, and make me wonder, why would
Very
Ved Vyas and Narad Muni make this kind of shlokas?
Right.
Then
Prabhupada gave us much more. So we can
Yes,
expand.
correct. Let me say something more. So here makes me wonder, why would Vedvyas, Narad Muni said such shloks?
Your
Then
question
when I listen to these morning classes,
Muni and Vaibhava. Oh my God. No, we can't do that. We accept what they say. Yes. Whatever they say, doesn't matter. It's
okay, no, I
accept.
haven't finished. Then when I listen to these morning classes,
Our time is over. Hare Krishna, glories to Prabhupada.
Jai.
sorry, Hare Krishna, I have not finished, Mataji.
Haribo.